The bell rang softly, signaling the end of another quiet afternoon at Hanul Elementary. Jungkook adjusted the stack of homework on his desk, the gentle hum of kids laughing and backpacks zipping up filling the warm spring air. He smiled faintly. He always loved this part of the day. Simple, calm, predictable. Mr. Jian. He looked up and saw his favorite student, Taehyung, tugging shyly on his sleeve. "My dad's coming to pick me up today," the boy said. "Can you wait with me?" "Of course," Jungkook said with a kind smile, ruffling his hair gently. "Let's sit by the window." They waited by the tall glass windows near the front of the school, and that's when Jungkook saw him. A black car pulled up, sleek and silent. The driver opened the door, and out stepped a man in a black tailor suit. His tie was perfect. His jaw was sharp. His presence, overwhelming. Jungkook blinked once, twice. The man didn't look like a parent. He looked like he owned the building. Taehyung waved excitedly. "That's my daddy." Jungkook stood slowly, suddenly very aware of how wrinkled his shirt was and how his glasses kept sliding down his nose. The man entered the building with slow, powerful strides. Cold eyes, striking and unreadable, swept across the lobby before landing on Jungkook. "Mr. Jian," he said, his voice deep, almost tired. "I'm Taehyung's father." Jungkook nodded, suddenly tongue-tied. Taehyung's gaze lingered on him. Just for a moment. And that one moment lingered far too long. Taehyung stood tall beside his son, hand resting lightly on Taehyung's shoulder. The little boy beamed, oblivious to the subtle tension in the air. Jungkook tried to ignore how the man's presence made his heart stutter. He cleared his throat and forced a polite smile. "Taehyung's been doing really well," he said, adjusting the folders in his hands. "He's bright. Kind. Very artistic." "Is that so?" Taehyung's voice was quiet, low, like velvet tipped in ice. His eyes never left Jungkook's. "Yes." Jungkook shifted on his feet. He mentioned you travel a lot. It's nice you could pick him up today." Taehyung's expression didn't change. "I make time for what matters." Those words shouldn't have made Jungkook's chest tighten. But they did. Taehyung tugged on his father's sleeve. "Appa, can we show Mr. Jian my drawing?" Taehyung looked down at his son and gave a faint nod. Taehyung pulled out a folded paper from his bag, handing it proudly to Jungkook. "It's you and me and Appa." Jungkook opened it, and his breath caught. 3 stick figures holding hands. One had his round glasses. One had a little crown. And the last one? The last one had a deep fro on, a sleek black suit, and a heart drawn above its head. "I gave Appa a heart 'cause he looks scary but he's nice," Taehyung explained. Jungkook looked up, right into Taehyung's eyes. For the first time, he saw something behind them. Loneliness. "I'll keep this," Jungkook said softly. "It's perfect." Taehyung nodded slowly, gaze unreadable. "We should go. Bye, Mr. Jian," Taehyung chirped, waving as he walked off, hand tightly in his father's. Jungkook watched them leave. Taehyung never looked back. But Jungkook's heart already had. Taehyung rarely remembered faces. Boardrooms, contracts, investors. He dealt with people who wore masks. No one ever looked directly into him, and he liked it that way. But the teacher, Mr. Jian. He remembered his soft tone, the way his fingers curled nervously around the edges of the drawing Taehyung gave him. The way his eyes looked down, then back up, like he wasn't used to being seen. Taehyung didn't mean to keep thinking about him. But he did. Back in his office, High above the city where everything bowed to his name, he sat staring at the rain streaking down the glass wall, the silence pressing around him like a cage. He could hear Jungkook's voice in his head. He's bright, kind, very artistic. He could still feel the warmth of Jungkook's eyes lingering too long. Taehyung's drawing lay open on his desk. And right in the center, in a child's crayon scroll, were three figures holding hands. The one in glasses, smiling. The one with the crown, laughing. And the one that was supposed to be him, wearing a suit, frowning, with a heart. Taehyung touched the paper gently. That heart shouldn't have been there. He didn't believe in hearts. But when Jungkook looked at him, why did he feel like he almost had one again? Jungkook was kneeling beside a student's desk, gently guiding a pencil over the paper. The afternoon light filtered through the curtains, soft and golden, painting the room in warmth. He loved these moments, quiet, full of purpose. Moments where he could forget the world outside. Until a shadow crossed the door. A soft knock. Mr. Jian. The secretary peeked in. There's someone here to see you. Jungkook stood, confused. Now she nodded. Mr. Kim. Taemin's father. His heart stopped for a moment. He hadn't expected to see him again so soon. He walked to the front hall, smoothing his hair and trying to will the nervous flutter out of his chest. Taehyung was standing there, sharp as ever in a dark turtleneck and tailor coat, one hand in his pocket, the other holding a sleek coffee cup. Mr. Kim. Jungkook said, surprised. Is everything okay with Taemin? Yes. Taehyung looked at him for a beat too long. I was in the area. Jungkook raised an eyebrow. Taehyung glanced at the coffee cup. I brought this. Thought you might need one. Jungkook blinked. His lips parted. For me, I assumed you'd like hazelnut. Taehyung paused. You smelled like it. Last time. Jungkook's cheeks flamed. Thank you. That's thoughtful. Taehyung watched him take the cup with delicate fingers. His eyes softened, just a little. You should take breaks more often. I usually forget, Jungkook admitted. Taehyung's voice lowered, almost fond. You shouldn't. Someone should remind you, and for a moment, silence stretched between them. Not awkward. Just charged. Then Jungkook stepped back, breaking the moment. Thank you again. I should get back to class. Taehyung nodded but didn't move. I'll see you again, Mr. Jian. It didn't sound like a question. It sounded like a promise. Jungkook had tried very hard not to think about him. He'd erased Taehyung's number from the contact sheet he scribbled notes on. Refused to glance at the coffee cup he kept forgetting to throw away. Ignored the way Taemin casually mentioned, Appa asked what you like to eat, but today was parent-teacher day. And there he was. Standing near the back of the classroom, surrounded by warm yellow walls and crayon-colored posters, Kim Taehyung looked like a man who did not belong here. Jungkook swallowed, gripping his notes too tightly as he finished discussing a student's reading progress with another parent. His heart raced. Taehyung caught his eyes from across the room and smiled. A real one. Not the sharp-edged smirk or cold professional mask. This was different. Soft. Almost bashful. Jungkook quickly looked down at the schedule list. He wasn't supposed to go next. But Taehyung walked forward anyway, smooth and unhurried, like time didn't apply to him. I know I'm early, he said, voice low, leaning slightly over Jungkook's desk, but I was hoping you wouldn't mind. Jungkook cleared his throat. Okay. Just for a few minutes. Taehyung sat down across from him, legs crossed, eyes trained on him with an intensity that made Jungkook feel bare. He's doing well, Jungkook said, flipping through Taemin's folder, trying to sound professional. He's opening up more. He seems really happy lately. Taehyung nodded slowly, but his eyes didn't leave Jungkook's face. He talks about you. A lot, Jungkook stilled. Kids talk, not like this, Taehyung murmured. He draws us. As a family, Jungkook's heart skipped. He's imaginative, he's honest, Taehyung corrected. Their eyes locked. Something shifted. And in that quiet moment, amid soft laughter and footsteps outside the classroom, Jungkook wondered, what would it feel like to be drawn into that picture for real? The sky cracked open without warning. Rain poured down in thick sheets as Jungkook ran toward the gate, binder over his head, soaked within seconds. He cursed under his breath. He hadn't brought an umbrella, hadn't checked the forecast, hadn't expected, Mr. Jian. He stopped at the sound of that voice. A black luxury car rolled to a slow stop beside him. The window lowered, revealing Taehyung behind the wheel, dry and composed, but with concern written all over his face. Get in, now, Jungkook. Jungkook blinked at the use of his name, stunned for a beat too long. Then he yanked the door open and slipped inside, breathless, dripping onto leather seats. Taehyung reached behind the seat and pulled out a towel. Yes, he actually had a towel ready, and passed it to him silently. The car smelled like cedar wood and something darker. Him. Thanks, Jungkook muttered, rubbing his hair. Taehyung pulled back onto the road, eyes flicking toward him now and then. You're not careful with yourself. I didn't expect the rain, Jungkook replied softly. You don't expect a lot of things, Taehyung murmured. That silence again. Charged. Heavy. Why are you doing this? Jungkook finally asked. Doing what? This? Bringing coffee. Showing up. Driving me home. Looking at me like that. Taehyung pulled the car to a stop in front of Jungkook's building. But he didn't unlock the doors. Instead, he turned to Jungkook, eyes intense, unreadable. Because you make me want to stop running. Jungkook's breath hitched. Taehyung leaned closer, voice low and reverent. I've built empires, Mr. Jian. I've been feared, respected, hated. But you make me feel like a man again. Not a monster. Jungkook's throat tightened. Taehyung, I never planned this, Taehyung said. But Taemin was the one who opened the door. You're the one who made me want to walk through it. Jungkook looked at him, really looked. Then, for the first time, he leaned in. Their lips met. It wasn't rushed. It wasn't frantic. It was soft. Careful. Real. A confession without words. When they pulled apart, Jungkook whispered against his lips, "This doesn't make me your student, you know." Taehyung chuckled, fingers brushing Jungkook's cheek. "No. But I'm willing to be yours."